Welcome back to CloudOps Lab. This is episode 9 of the DevOps Foundation series. In the earlier episodes, we moved from CI/CD into GitHub Actions, Docker, AWS deployment, and Kubernetes basics. Now we're continuing the same beginner-friendly path with Jenkins versus GitHub Actions for CI/CD. Jenkins and GitHub Actions can both automate builds, tests, and deployments. The beginner mistake is asking which one is best without first understanding the workflow and team context. The goal of this episode is not to memorize every command. The goal is to understand the mental model so the tools become easier to learn later. When you learn DevOps, always ask 3 questions. What problem does this tool solve? Where does it fit in the path from code to production? What should I check before trusting it in a real release? For Jenkins versus GitHub Actions for CI/CD, those questions are the difference between copying commands and actually understanding the workflow. Concept 1. GitHub Actions. GitHub Actions lives close to the repository. It is convenient when your code is already on GitHub and you want workflows triggered by pull requests, pushes, releases, or scheduled events. Concept 2. Jenkins. Jenkins is a long-standing automation server. It can be very flexible, especially in companies with existing infrastructure, custom networks, many plugins, or complex legacy pipelines. Concept 3. Hosted versus managed. With GitHub Actions, GitHub provides hosted runners by default. With Jenkins, your team usually manages the server, plugins, credentials, agents, and upgrades. Concept 4. Pipeline files. GitHub Actions uses YAML workflow files. Jenkins commonly uses a Jenkins file. Both should be treated like code, reviewed in Git, and kept readable. Concept 5. Choosing the tool. For beginners and GitHub-based projects, GitHub Actions is often simpler to start. For existing enterprise environments, Jenkins may already be deeply integrated. Now, let us connect this to the full DevOps chain. Code still starts in Git. A pipeline still checks the code. Docker still gives us a repeatable artifact. Cloud and Kubernetes still run the application. But Jenkins versus GitHub Actions for CI/CD helps us manage the next layer of reliability. This is why DevOps is not one tool. It is a system of habits. You want changes to be visible. You want infrastructure to be repeatable. You want releases to be automated. You want failures to be easy to investigate. You want learning projects to look like small versions of real production systems. Here is the beginner checklist for this topic. 1. Start by mapping the pipeline stages before choosing a tool. 2. Use GitHub Actions when you want quick GitHub native automation. 3. Use Jenkins when your environment already depends on it or needs custom control. 4. Keep pipeline definitions in version control. 5. Protect secrets and credentials in the platform. 6. Avoid adding too many plugins or marketplace actions without review. 7. Make pipeline logs readable for failed builds. 8. Measure success by reliability, speed, and maintainability. 9. Remember that tool choice matters less than a clear automated workflow. If you can explain these points in your own words, you are no longer just watching DevOps tutorials. You are building a practical mental model. Before we finish, remember this.
You do not need to become an expert in every tool immediately. Start with the workflow. Then learn the commands. Then build small projects. Then improve the setup one piece at a time. In the final episode of this beginner series, we will build a simple DevOps roadmap so you know what to learn next. If you want the free DevOps Foundations checklist, check the link in the description. Subscribe to CloudOps Lab and comment Jenkins if you want a follow-up hands-on lab for this topic. DevOps becomes easier when every tool has a clear job in the system.